Welcome to the Land of Bet Sports Betting live show. Good to have y'all in here, man. I was originally just gonna go with the Timberwolves game, and I was like, man, that game sucks. We need to add the Knicks in here. But I do have an episode up about the Knicks from last night. That's going to have a little bit more than what we've got in here. But we've got a couple of things I can still go into from that video and then talk about some of the picks we're looking at here. Using Props Madness, as always. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, showing you guys what I'm looking at. Again, when we go through, I'm going to start with the Minnesota game. So if you guys are coming in, would appreciate looks for the Minnesota game as you drop them in the comments. So we can go ahead and get into that one first. And then I'm bringing on Nate Weitzer, who was here the other day, my boy from the lines. A couple things changing at the lines, by the way. So we're going to have some updates on that probably when he gets on the show. But either way, when he does get on, then we'll be doing a little bit more of the Knicks and the Celtics. So let's get into the Warriors and the Dubs. As you guys come in, go ahead and give that video a like. What's up, Tyrell? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, we need to get some money today. We need to get a little bit of revenge. I know it's been a tough playoffs for some people. I'm up about 2.2 units now after a decent day before I took a little break. So we'll be looking to do better today. Mitch Rob on the boards. What's up, Free Sauce? Got a couple of the VIP cappers in here, so much appreciated to have you guys in the comments, man. Free Sauce, go see Mike. Brunson assists. We could take a look at that. Yeah, let me start some of these Knicks ones. Let's try to get the let me know if y'all have the some looks for the other game too, because I know it's the second game, but I'm gonna start with the Timberwolves here. So I want to get into this. This is gonna be a little bit of just sort of the research I need to do at first that I'm gonna be showing you guys. So this is gonna be from scratch. I don't have picks ready for y'all. I'm gonna be looking at what I want to bet on in this game, and I gotta be honest, it ain't much, man. The first place I start when I talk about these things, which I've told you guys before, sometimes on these live streams, we're going to go right into exactly the research I'm doing so that you know exactly what I'm doing and not just the picks I like because this guy has a good hit rate or whatever. So I'm in this box score from this last game, and there's a couple of things that stand out to me that I took some notes on that I wanted to share with y'all at first. First thing is Minnesota won the third quarter 39-17, and that was the game right here. 39-17. They went 6 for 12 from three, shot 65% from the field, and had 3 free throws. They won the rebounding battle, in this one. They had 10 boards, 11 assists in that third quarter. That is absurd amount of assists. If you get 44 assists in a game, right, you get 11 per quarter. That's unheard of. But then you look at the Dubs on the other side, 2 dimes. Such a big telling stat for this Golden State Warriors team. They have 2 assists, not looking good. Got out rebounded 10-5. They only had 5 boards, had 7 turnovers. Oh no, that's foul. 6 turnovers, which is still embarrassing as hell. 6 turnovers in that one in that third quarter alone. Jimmy went 2 for 4. All right, 5 points and an assist. And then the fourth quarter, when they kind of made a comeback, Jimmy had 0 points, and Ant didn't even need to score in the fourth quarter. This whole game was over. That's one thing I'm looking at. Other thing is that Jimmy stuff I was just talking about. Jimmy in the game had 9 points, I believe. 9 shots, 14 points, because he got to the free throw line 5 times, 3 dimes. It just ain't going to cut it. Like, he's just getting locked up by Jaden McDaniels, not feeling any kind of Jimmy stuff moving forward here. And then the other thing is, like, I guess Kuminga was the best player on offense, but he had 16 of his 23 points in the first half and couldn't do much in the second half. Gary Payton Jr. only getting 15 minutes, about 16 minutes, because they want him to guard Ant, but they don't have the offense. So I can't bet on any of those guys if we're looking at that stuff for this Warriors and Wolves game. I can easily see a blowout in this one too. Like, the Dubs just basically giving up pretty early. So not sure if y'all have any looks for that one. Free Sauce has the look for Jimmy. Is Jimmy really at 39.5 PRA? That's absolutely absurd, right? He's at 26.5 points. In what world do we trust Jimmy to score 27 points tonight? 6.5 boards. The boards are the things he's been doing well. It's these assists that are putrid, man. Even in the game where he had 7 dimes here where they lost in game 3, he had 11 potential assists in 43 minutes. Like, 7 assists on 11 potentials, running pretty hot there. Not something we should expect. So at the very least, I think the points and assists are a great under 32.5. I would definitely like that. The rebounds, he's had some chances. He's guarding bigger guys. He knows that he's needed to rebound, and his offensive skill set might be a little bit limited, but his rebounds are, heart and hustle is all that takes. So the rebounds scare me a little bit more, but I think points and assists is something I got to write down as an under. So I appreciate that look from you, Free Sauce, because I do not trust him with these dimes right now. The way that Draymond too, what was he doing in this last game with the assist? Did that eat into the dimes from? Yeah. So he had 14 points. No, he actually sucked on the dimes too. He had 7 potentials. So they're not going to press up on him. So I don't know if we can bet on Draymond assists. We might be able to bet under if we can, even for plus money. I mean, dudes, they're not going to press up on him. So they're just not going to have guys to pass to or passing lanes, I would imagine. So Jimmy under on the PA is kind of my preferred bet, but I'm going to put that down in the notes here. I might be getting that into the to the VIP folks. So I am going to write Jimmy under 30 because there's so many ways that goes right for us, for him to go under, which is like including the blowout, which, like I said, not discounting the blowout. What is the spread's got to be like 10 and a half, right? Let me look at that real quick. 10 and a half. Yeah, that makes sense. Hasn't really moved. I don't know. I think you're kind of safe to bet on the Wolves. I know they had a bad first half, but let's see if there's anything else from this one. Honestly, man. JK over for Kuminga. Yeah, no, you're right about that. It might be another Kuminga night. I mean, he's been getting the bulk of the shots here. He took 18 game 3, took 13 game 4, but got to the line 12 times. So we probably give him closer to another like 18 to 20 shots again here in game 4. Just a lot of those turn into free throws, and he was good from the free throw line. 18 and a half points is definitely a decent amount for Kuminga, but when he's played without Steph in the past, this season's a little different. This season, they did not quite use him as much. But if he's playing, what did he play in this last game? This was 30 minutes. So let's give him like 28 to 32 and see if that makes it look a little better for what he does when he plays without Steph. Yeah, so if he does get the 30-ish minutes, then he's at about 19, 20 points. So, yeah, maybe it's just a 20-plus for JK. I don't really trust him on the boards ever. Yeah, and definitely don't trust him on the dimes either, even though they're low. I think the points alone, like 20-plus, if you're going to play it for Kuminga, I'm at least going to put that down for myself. But, the blowout just feels so imminent, man. I don't know what this team has to play for tonight at this point. Let's look at Buddy, man. Buddy, here's a big problem with Buddy. I've showed you guys this before. If you're in the box score here for this game, let me see if I can get this a little bigger. Yeah, if you're in the box score for a game on NBA.com, one thing I always like to look at is the matchups. So you can change traditional stats to the matchup stats. And then I'm going to put Ant on offense because what I want to show you is Buddy getting torched by Ant, right? Buddy was the main defender on Ant because he's the starter. So he spent most of the time that he was out there guarding Ant, which did not work out. 11 points in 4 minutes of offense. Did not miss a shot. 4 for 4 from the field, including 3 3-pointers that he had against Buddy. Had 1 dime in there too. No turnovers. Like it's not a great matchup. And he's their best option to guard Ant right now. And is just absolutely getting cooked. I don't know that he can get taken off the floor. Kerr doesn't like. I have another option, right? What did he play in this last one? Played 34 minutes. Like Buddy's probably safe for low to mid 30s as a floor for his minutes, but the shots here, 11 shots, man, in 34 minutes just ain't gonna cut it. Who is guarding Buddy real quick? I'm gonna see that because I don't think it's Jaden McDaniels anymore. I believe he's guarding Jimmy now. So let me go down here to Buddy on offense. Look at the minutes. Yeah, he's being guarded by Mike Conley, bro, and he still isn't doing anything. That is so frustrating. Let's see what his lines are at 13.5, pretty low. Actually, yeah, this is the value moment in time probably to take Buddy. It's going to be some last-ditch stuff. Jesus Christ. So what percentage of his shots are from 3? 6 of 11, right? He took 11 shots last game. 6 of them were 3. Seems like the points are the better play overall. I mean, 3.5 is an absurd number. It is plus money, but there's a lot better ways to get to 15 points. Here was 8 of 11, 9 of 14. This is all without Steph. So without Steph, he's taking 7.4 threes per game. I don't like that for him to make 4 of them, right? 4 for 7 is too high of a percentage. I don't think that's a good look right there. The field goal attempts as a whole are right here. So field goal attempts without Steph are at 10.9. So 7.5 of that's like 7 of his 11 shots are coming from 3. So that is a high percentage, but that gives you 4 2-point field goals for him to get 8 points. He makes 50%. I think you're better off taking the points by themselves here to answer the question specifically. If you're looking at the way he's played, and this is all without Steph, but in general on the season, probably about 7 of 11 shots are going to be from 3. So I still think you have enough non-3-point attempts coming from Buddy. That's probably better to take the points. It's not like every single shot is coming from 3. The boards are a little bit low for Buddy too. This is something I always look at without Steph. I believe he's got some pretty good numbers on the rebounds too when he gets enough minutes. 3.9. Yeah, this is juice now, minus 145. Probably not good enough. I think it's just the points for Buddy. But look, this is also a freaking just nasty game, man. Like this was the highest scoring game of the series. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. 117 to 110, right? Yeah. I think this is the highest scoring game for sure. Not even close, right? This 7 more points in this game. A couple games didn't hit 200 right here, right? I mean, this one barely hit 200. Yeah, I don't like the points at all in this series, and I don't like the Warriors to score very many points. So I'm not sure if I'm betting on too many Warriors overs. I'm gonna tell you that. Let's see. Yeah, honestly, y'all, if y'all have unders for this game, let me know. I think that's what I'm looking at. Okay, here we go. We got an under from Free Sauce. Cool. And then I'm gonna get Nate in here too. Yeah, what's up, bro? Like, give me 1 sec, Nate. We'll get you on here. Let me finish this one look. Draymond under 11.5 RA on this one. So rebounds 6.5, assists, 4.5. I was talking about the under on the assists a minute ago too. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and bring Nate on and see what he says about it. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. What's up, Josh?
Not much, man. Let me get, where's this? I got one in here for you. Oh, where'd it go? You're just gonna be Daff for a second. And I'll get this switched up. Actually, you can be Modai. This is Nate, not Matt Modai, but we'll change that in a minute. While I change that, any thoughts on Draymond here specifically? It doesn't have to be specifically the RA if you have something else, but I do like an under for him.
You're going under on Draymond at this point with the season on the line. I mean, that did not go well last series.
Fair.
I wouldn't go up necessarily under, although like the rebounding has been disappointing overall in terms of him actually getting his hands on them. But I think facilitation wise, like Jimmy being more of a primary option, even though we didn't see that last game, we definitely saw it the game before. And I think with backs against the wall, Jimmy's going to have more usage that pumps everyone down a notch on the ladder and makes Draymond more of his old role as an assister. So, I mean, maybe I would, if I had to parse them down, I would think more over on the assists and under on the rebounds, but not going to go under on the combo.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, and the 4.5 is so low at this point, right? That for him to get 5, I'm not going to take it for the juice here. Minus 135 is the best price you could even get for that. So I don't think I want to mess with an under on the dimes, because obviously the implied probability here is that this is still going over on the dimes. So yeah, 4.5 is too low. 11.5, it looks good. The only thing I would say to give some credence to it is like a few of these games are with Steph, 1, 2, and even 3 when he started this game in May 8th. These last 3 are all without Steph in terms of the rebounds, assists, going pretty cleanly under in these last 3, right? That they've lost all of them. So yeah, again, I think that the way I don't want to fade Draymond more than anything is the points, because that's he just came out firing and all of a sudden he's hitting threes out of spite in a couple of those games, right? So I can understand not wanting to go under there no matter what. But all right, let's keep rolling through this game, because I don't think we need to spend too much time on it. But any initial thoughts on this one about a player that you even want to look at real quick?
I mean, in terms of overs,
no. I specifically was asking for unders in the comments here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Trace Jackson Davis under again. See how long he can survive out here before getting Kerr's hook.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how long Kuminga can keep this up with elevated usage. What's he at now?
Yeah, he's at 18.5 on the points. I was just talking about him a minute ago too. If you're going to take anything for him, it would just be points. I'll say that for sure. He has like 3 games where he's played with Steph, or without Steph rather, and gotten like at least 28 minutes or so. So if I filter the games out without Steph here, where we look at points, right? Like it's definitely about minutes to a degree. Let's say he plays at least 26 minutes. Right now we're looking at a pretty thing. Let's cap him at like 32. 19 points per game, right? That kind of brings you right to where we're at. I think that's partly where this is priced at, is like the projected minutes, about 28, the points without Steph in that time frame, about 19 per game. Does that do anything for you? You think it's already just too high?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't touch the points, but I mean, that's a guy to fade with RA, right? I mean, he doesn't do anything but try to get buckets, and that's why he hasn't been seeing the floor much this season, because he doesn't contribute much else despite his athleticism and potential there.
Yep. What else do you do here, Jonathan? I agree with that. I know this game's tough, man. Like I'm just tell y'all right now. I know that this is a betting show. Do not feel like you have to put down units on this game. I don't trust this one to not be close. Would you be touching any sides or totals for this one, Nate?
Warriors with the points there. Yeah, I mean, closeout games are never easy. I still don't trust the Wolves as home favorites. That's how we open this series, right? And I mean, we didn't see Steph injury coming, but like everything fell in the Wolves' lap and they still lost by 11. So like that's still kind of the take here is that,
and they still only pulled this one out by 7 because of that first half. The Wolves aren't good, man. Can I say that? Like, I don't have this series has made me lose a ton of respect for what I thought they might be capable of. Obviously, we all might have thought that after their first round series, but I don't know if it's there anymore. So, yeah, man, I honestly don't feel comfortable with pretty much any of these bets that they're offering us here as far as an over, even for the Wolves. I mean, the Ant and Julius are going to continue to dominate the touches. If they leave Rudy out there, again, just to play some angles here real quick, going back into the box score from last game, like all of a sudden in this last game, Nas played 22 minutes, right? That's kind of been his forte in the last couple games. We saw Rudy then stay out there for about 30 in this last game, as opposed to like 24, 25, because he was actually making a few shots. Am I in the right game here? Yeah, I think I am. Monday, May 12th. Yeah. So, yeah, right. Like, I don't really trust anybody at this point. They could go in any direction to do whatever. So, I think we should just go to that Celtics and Knicks game, because I think there is some bettable stuff in here, right? Like, this one seems like a lot juicier. Would you agree?
Yeah, but real quick, I mean, if you think the Wolves aren't good, is now the time to just take OKC to win the title? I think it's 2-1.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is 2-1. I think it's 1-1 now. Because actually it was like even money before they won last night. So if we're looking at NBA futures here for a sec, more NBA, let me get to these futures bets. East Playoff Series, West Playoff Series. Let's do NBA Finals, right? Champion -149.
Nice.
I was actually willing to take plus 1,500 for the Nuggets before they lost this last game. And when they lost, I was like, well, why not plus 2,900? Like, I expected this to go 7, even if the Nuggets are going to win the chip. But I kind of think this is the final series, is the Nuggets and the Thunder to a degree. So maybe I just put it a little bit on both of them. Where do you stand with it? Because however I can fade the Timberwolves to not win the finals, I'm here for that, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the value is on these two East teams that should be left standing, Knicks and Pacers.
Should be.
Yeah, well, the Thunder, I think, were 2-1 when it was before the game went off last night.
Yeah, a little bit earlier, but like right before, I remember right before tip, people were putting around the finals odds, and it was like plus 105 for the Thunder at that point. People were already hitting it at like 2-1, and probably brought it down within a day. So yeah, they look really good. I still think the Nuggets have the second best chance of winning the title at this point, though. So with that in mind, you don't seem to be giving your boys a chance here as far as the series goes. But tonight feels like a Celtics game, no?
Yes, and I did bet plus 175 for the Knicks to win in 6. To just go home here down the stretch. But I feel like the Celtics, I mean, there might be a stars out bets up theory here in terms of just the ball moving a little bit more. I know Tatum was fantastic, but then it turned into like, bail us out, Tatum. So, I mean, when the ball moves, who benefits on this team? Pritchard, Derek White. Though I think those guys are where you start in terms of looking for elevated scoring. Maybe even Pop Al. Yeah.
Maybe even Pop Al. Maybe even. Let me do this before I get back into the comments with y'all, because I did put this in the episode last night. This is gonna look funny for a second, but just bear with me, because I'll be missing for a sec. But more importantly, this is Tatum. This is Brown without Tatum. Rebounds and assists look really good. This is Derek White. Not as impressive without Tatum. I don't really care that much, though. I still think that like White is a great bet in this one. To your point, Drew gonna Drew no matter what, right? Like, so I don't know if it matters who's in or out, and he hasn't been as aggressive this series, so I'm still a little bit out on Drew. I'll come back to this one in a minute, because KP is very important to talk about. Obviously, he has about 10 boards and 27 points per 36 without Tatum. Papa Al is who you were just talking about. The rebounds are what stand the hell out to me. So I kind of want to start with the boards for the Papa Al conversation, because the points are at 9.7. We'll talk about that, but the boards are what interests me as much, if not more than anything. And here's why. Because if I think the conversation about Horford cannot be had if we're not including KP in the conversation. Which KP is available tonight? Is it a guy that can play 30 to 32 minutes, or is it a guy that is off the bench for 24? Because if he's off the bench for 24, Papa Al's on Cat, right? And no matter what, right? There's still a possibility that Al and Cat, Kristaps start, right? Horford and Zingis both might start. And if that's the case, then like I still 100% think you have Al on Cat. Even more so, right? They can just run their Kristaps guards Josh Hart, and Al is on Cat instead of Tatum. So if that's the case, like rebounds are at 7. Oh, okay. People bet the under here. because you were getting good money for under 7.5 earlier. And I thought this would get up to 8.5 and I could hit the under if that's the case. But I just showed you that if Al's out there without Tatum, he also gets about 9.5 boards per 36. So I'm basically just talking out of both sides of my mouth here. But I know that if Kristaps is starting and available, I'm not betting an over on Al Horford rebounds. I'll tell you that. So that's the only thing I know for sure.
Why would the healthy Kristaps suddenly show up? Like he's been looking like the Walking Dead for 4 straight games, and like we're only talking about 1 day off now. Like I think you can operate under the assumption that, like, I'm not saying go ahead and run to bet his unders, but operate like Al Horford knows and Drew Holiday knows that they have to step up as more of an interior presence. I would blame Drew's struggles in that last game more on Joe Mazzulla, honestly. Just yanking him at different times so it kind of zap his confidence and his rhythm for the game. And then not having him on Brunson down the stretch, which was kind of the fatal flaw, is just like, all right, Derek White's just out there getting cooked. Like, why not use the best perimeter defender we got?
Not only the best perimeter defender, but such a strong body for someone that's trying to like back you down like Brunson's doing. Like Brunson's not going to create much room if he's trying to outmuscle Drew Holiday, right? He might be able to do that a lot more with a more frail Derek White than Drew. So yeah, I agree with all of that. I'm not going to be touching Drew because I think it's too inconsistent with his play. And I think at this point, my main thing with Kristaps is I agree that maybe it's like a 65-35 percentage in terms of it's more likely that he plays fewer minutes than would normally be expected for him. That said, if he plays 26 minutes, right, or so, and last game he played almost about 25, and I like the thing here is like, I think there's a little bit more of a DEFCON, whatever the highest, like I think DEFCON 1's the worst, right? So like whatever the worst one is, if there's that moment in time for this team where are they getting offense from without Jason Tatum, right? If I know there's other guys, I know Pritchard, I get that there's other guys, but is this not the best offensive weapon that is potentially untapped? And you force the issue with him a bit more to make sure you have the offense and obviously the rim protection, which has been a huge issue for them in this series, maybe, but even if he plays 26 minutes, right? About 15 points per game. These numbers are still a bit low, but that does seem to be the projection that the books are giving him is about 25, 26 minutes, in which case, yeah, that's not quite enough in my opinion.
You can't just overlay this with season stats though, because this guy has like one of the most mysterious illnesses we've ever seen. And he just like, he has no legs in any shot. He has no confidence going to the basket. He's getting like bodied up by Josh Hart. So that he can't get any momentum. So you can't force it with Porzingis if you're the coaching staff here.
Very good point. Very good point. So then, all right. Yeah. If I guess I was trying to figure out and get someone to, no, here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get someone to validate my potential buy low moment for Kristaps Porzingis. But yeah, if it's even 26, then it's still only like at 15 points. And there's so many outs for this going under still, like you said, most of which is just his ability to play full minutes. And he just can't do it. Not only can he not seem to play full minutes, he can't seem to be himself for the minutes that he's even out there. And that's a huge issue as well. To your point, this isn't the regular season. Let's talk about this man, Jaylen Brown. So here's my take on Jaylen without Tatum real quick. Without Tatum, he has really good rebound and assist numbers. Really, really good. I think you can depend on those. The thing is, these points numbers that don't look as sexy as people might think they should look, where it's at 24.5 on the season in 8 games without Tatum, there's easy explanations for why in multiples of these. He had a great game here. He did not have a great shooting game here, but still had 28 in 39 minutes. Then they won by 24. So he only played 30 minutes, and there was a lot of Pritchard and Hauser. Then this one without Tatum against Orlando, we know that that was the times to bet him over. They're not going to double him. He's going to score. He did it. This was 2 40-point games on the same team by his teammates against the Blazers in Pritchard and White. So that's why he went under there. Jazz are the Jazz, and then the Suns, they won by 30. Wizards, they won by 1 million. Right. So the only times he went under, there's pretty easy reasoning for why he went under. It does seem like the points would be the best bet, even though I love that the rebounds and assists for him because of how much the uptick happens in both the rebounds and assists. In game 6 of a do or die, is he not taking 25 shots in this game? Like, how do you break him down?
Yeah, no, I think your first inclination is right, that he's going to board more. He's going to be more of a playmaker. We'll see about the scoring. I mean, now he does have the elevated usage. He also gets the elevated assignment of OG Anunoby, right? So, yeah. So, I mean, I'd look into that data and like how he's performed when he gets him individually. At the same time, OG, I think, pulled his hamstring and it was able to finish out that game. But now, yeah, the Knicks are starting to worry about last year and how that looked. So we'll see if he's 100%. But yeah, I think it's a good look to say rebounds and or assists here for Brown.
Yeah.
Maybe leaning towards the rebounds first and foremost.
Really? Yeah. He'll probably be guarding OG. Yeah, he'll be a lot more in there. Maybe like a double-double for Brown. Like I could see the rebounds being the thing to ladder, to your point, in these games. Maybe, I mean, a double-double. He still hasn't gotten 10 but one time without Tatum, but the rebound chances without Tatum. See, that's the thing. That's why the assists were so sexy to me. I agree with you that the rebounds look good because now he's got the OG assignment, or God forbid it's not OG. I guess the precious, I don't even know. I don't have to think about what happens if OG doesn't play, but cross that bridge if we have to come to it, or I'll just jump off of that bridge if we have to come to it. But what we're saying here for the assist, though, the potential assists go up. That's what really like starts to make this sexy, is that he goes up to 10 potential assists per game. That should be good for 5 or 6 for plus money. I still think that's a decent look for the assists. But you're right. It's like the past data might not be what we want to focus on here with JB. I do think he's going to try to force the issue on the points a bit more. And the boards are something he has a bit more control over than the dimes, especially because if the ball is forced out of his hands, it's likely going to be a hockey assist for Jaylen Brown if they have to move the ball around the perimeter, so it ends up in the hands of a guy like Derek White. So I guess final thoughts here. Your favorite bet for Brown would be the rebounds if you're going to go an over for him, or the RA before the points because of the likely OG assignment.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with adding points and rebounds together. He's just still doesn't strike me as a pure playmaker, like you said. Yeah, like it's the pass before the pass a lot. For Jaylen, if he gets off the ball, like he's stubborn. He does like to go to the hoop, and at home in this closeout spot, he will probably be getting a pretty good whistle. So I do think, one way or another with the elevated usage, he's probably going to be around that line, 25 points.
Right.
But yeah, if isolating something, I think the boards, because Tatum has just been the best rebounder for this team so much. Porzingis, like we said, is hobbled. Al Horford old on 1 day rest. Like somebody's got to grab these rebounds, and frankly, like rebounds are usually the best bet in tight playoff games.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing, is like this one probably going to continue to get tight down the stretch. Once you get to this part of the game, right? Like that Pacers and Cavs game 5 tightened up in the fourth quarter. Obviously, there was free throws down the stretch, but it wasn't this as high scoring as like the third, for example, in those middle quarters of the games. Yeah, the fourth one, stuff tightens up. Man, I don't even know if I'll watch the fourth quarter of Wolves Warriors. I think it's gonna be so gross. But Derek White. So for JB, just to close it out again, I agree. I think like I can't fade the points. It's gonna be tough. I'm probably gonna stick to at least rebounds, maybe rebounds and assists. But that's definitely the look for our boy there. D White, as we look at him. What's your take on him? Because his numbers without Tatum are so weird to me. He's still only at about 20 a game, but this 41-point banger, right? The median number here is probably closer to 18 for him. And then if you look at the assists, nothing really stands out to me. And then if you look at the rebounds, it's actually clean under. We talked about this on our show on the lines a bunch, which is like weirdly, Derek White doesn't do well with the rebounds without Tatum, if that means anything. So what are your thoughts here? I prefer the points over anything if I was going to take an over on him, but a lot of the stuff seems fairly priced for White.
Yeah, I would be cautious about chasing it for two reasons. Yeah, that these numbers make sense to me because D White gets these threes from the defense overreacting to Tatum, or just a defense that generally overreacts like Portland, and was just like allowing him to get off all those threes.
Right.
He just absolutely torched the Knicks in this last game. He was like the main reason they had that lead. So I would expect them to stay home a little better here. So I would probably just stay away from D White. Mm-hmm. Like he can still hit and create his own shot and hit and go to the basket. But I think those quick trigger threes might not be there unless the Celtics, like Brown and Pritchard and et cetera, are able to get the Knicks in rotation and get this ball really humming. But we also do have Sam Hauser playing some minutes here.
So how do you break up these minutes then? Yeah, because if you've got, look, D White's safe, right? But who's playing with D White could definitely impact how he does, right? So if it's Pritch and Hauser in the game with Derek White, I don't know if the Knicks are going to specifically leave any one of those three guys on purpose more than the other. But I do know that like you definitely cannot leave Sam Hauser, and no one's leaving Pritchard either, especially at home. So, like, does that mean D White assists potentially is a better look because they will make sure he's the guy not taking the shots and he will have the ball in his hands more? Does Pritchard get a little bit more touches on ball as a point guard, or are they going to leave him off ball? I'm a little bit confused as how that works.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a play along with the Knicks just being like in his jersey and just forcing him to put it on the floor and make plays. So yeah, that makes sense. The assist might come from that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he might be the actual the one guy going inside the paint inside the 3-point line a lot more than the others. For Pritchard, so just to end the White stuff, like, yeah, I think this is all fairly priced. I agree with Nate. Caution, just to finish the White stuff. Just caution there is where I'm at. Peyton Pusha P, as we've spoken about, the little sketchy kid with a backpack and a bong in it, probably. Assists and rebounds always look good to me. I'm such a sucker for the boards with him. This was at 3.5, and this has jumped to 4.5. So either people have been looking at what I was talking about with Pritchard, or other people are just thinking that he's going to get so many minutes, he's going to soak up some rebounds. The problem with the rebounds is the Knicks are an incredible rebounding team. Like, this is maybe the best rebounding team in the league when Mitch Rob is not maybe it probably is with Mitch Rob available. So especially when you're going to get Mitch Rob out there with second unit minutes, is this silly? But like, just to finish the point real quick, what I was showing you guys earlier. 5.6 boards, 5.5 assists per 36 when he plays without Tatum. And by the way, I should mention, this is without Tatum and with Brown, with White, with Holiday, with Horford. Like, this isn't with him and scrubs on the floor. I'm not going to call anybody out, but you get what I'm saying. So am I just overthinking this? And if anything, it's like points or threes and that's it.
You know what else it is with regular season effort from the other team, like slipping in there for these offensive rebounds, doing all that stuff that's just not going to be as easy here if the Knicks are really gunning to close this one out. I think the points. Yeah, I think it's a points ladder. Can he get hot? Can the Celtics offense as a unit thrive in this more egalitarian system? Get him some open looks. He basically is on fire at home every opportunity he gets. So yeah, I was just looking at like 12 points and 2 threes, 14 and 3 threes, and seeing what odds those can get me when you put those together. It's just PP to get hot. Right.
Yeah. PP to get hot is way better than just like anything else. I think, like you said, it's just like playing high upside potential. Maybe it's just like the threes ladder, or the points to 20, that kind of thing. I don't think you need to start getting cute with RA when D White and Jaylen Brown are going to dominate the touches in this game a ton. So I agree with all that stuff. Did you want to talk about any of these other C's before we just move on to the Knicks players?
No, let's go to the other side.
Yeah. All right. Any quick hitter thoughts on this one, on anybody? We can start wherever.
I liked what I saw from Mikal Bridges. What I have seen from like really the last few games. I know he was scoreless through 3 quarters at the beginning of the series, but then came alive, had the 2 defensive game-winning plays, and now he looks a little bit more like a guy comfortable in his own skin as a scorer, as a creator, and really kind of buried the C's in that last game with just some really simple plays to get to his comfort zone. So I mean, parlaying him at like 12 points, which is like an alt line for the points, but I found that to be a good like parlay dance partner with the Pritchard stuff. And I mean, 15.5 points is a fair amount here, but OG, I wouldn't expect to score as much given his health. And I think the Celtics, they're either going to put Drew on Jaylen or they're going to send more help because they cannot just deal with this man ripping their heart out again.
That was nasty. Yeah. I was looking. So points is where you would go, like you said, 12 plus points is the potential dance partner for some parlays. I was considering threes mostly because of the 3-point attempts in the playoffs so far. If we're looking at 5, 8, 2 in this boo-boo game that they lost by 22, and then 6. So if he's at like 6, 8, 5, like in the 6 range, for him to make 2 at flat money or even on MGM, like I think the threes are a good look. He's been cold as ice in a bad way, but like, so I don't know if you want to go that route, but is there one stat that stands out to you more than the other? It's just the 12 plus points, right? Nothing with any of the assists or boards or anything.
No, I mean, I think it could be a PRA.
Nice. Right.
I mean, it's just a volume play, right? And I think you can think a little bit that like you can forecast a little bit OG Anunoby getting hurt.
Right.
wearing down. Mitchell Robinson getting hack-a-Mitch. But like Mikal and Josh Hart are the guys Cat getting in foul trouble. And then there's two guys alongside Brunson that Tibbs would like to play 40 plus minutes.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. It's Mikal's averaging 44 minutes a game in this series. That is an insane thing to say. Jay Hart averaging what's he at? Playoffs head to head, averaging 38. So yeah, he's actually been playing slightly fewer minutes when they need a shooter out there to take advantage of the sagging off of at least one guy because they have a big that they want to protect the rim. Josh Hart has been that guy. I actually like points and love under on the RA, if anything, not just because of the hit rate here against this team in general. But the assists, they've gone down. I put this out last night that 5.5 is too many for him against this team because they're sagging off of him and they're not going to allow him to find open players. They're going to allow him to shoot a three, right? That's going to be what he's allowed to do. So the assists have not been there for against this team. Playoffs are not. And I love that. Even when he hit it, he had 14 in these two games. And that seems to be the anomaly here. So either way, I think the assists are a good under for Hart, but the points are something I still want to go back to. I know he's had 2 bad games. I did make the potential correlation though, and I want to see if you agree that like these 2 games barely saw any Kristaps, and so he's taking fewer shots because he's not having a 7'4" shot blocker sag off of him to protect the paint, right? He's got more like wing guys on him as Al Horford is now responsible for Karl Towns. So I don't know if I can get there with the points, but this is where I'd be looking as another good points over for him after 2 bad games, especially. We got this back down to 11.5 when it bumped up to 13.5.
Yeah, I might just be in wait and see mode, like you said, with the unknown of Porzingis and how the matchups shake out now without Tatum. Yeah. With Josh Hart, but he's somebody I would circle back to in a game 6 at the Garden. Somebody who I thought in the series, was just going to have his fingerprints all over it and be a big reason that if the Knicks cover in each game or if they win the series, it's going to be because Josh Hart is just the points and rebounds are going to be there pretty consistently for him. Yeah, not the assists though.
Agreed. Yep. Assist and under is always going to be a thought that I have. I think the boards, he had a really good game initially because there was like no Cat right in game 1. And then as Cat's minutes have kind of gone back up, his rebounds have definitely gone down a bit. I'm going to go through these comments though, because I want to use what you guys are looking at. Mitra boards 6.5 feels high. Now he's up to, we can probably get him to 20 minutes at this point, no matter what in this series. So if he's at 20 minutes, I mean, damn, in this series alone, right? On the season as a whole, he played 16 at the end of the season. This is a buttload of rebound chances, 13.4 while he's averaging 20 minutes per game against this team. If he's at 13.4 rebound chances, do we not like him to get 7 rebounds?
Only concern I have is that they hack him and get him off the floor, right? Because they didn't do that at all last game, seemed to bite them, do these things, oscillate back and forth. Otherwise, I mean, if he's able to stay out there, the rebounds definitely look good.
Yeah, I think he will be. That's the bet. That's the bet that you're making is like, will Mitch Rob get played off the floor? I think Tibbs is doing what I've talked about a couple of times, which is like just play him earlier in the quarter, get yourselves into the bonus, and then take him out if you have to, right? At that point, but get him in there when they're not in the bonus yet, and they're just fouling themselves into trouble. That's when you want Mitch Rob on the court. I think once we get to 6.5 in 20 minutes, I still like it, but the issue is again what Nate said. If he's at 14 or 15 minutes, this is a lot scarier. Of course, just to play devil's advocate one more time, he had 16 minutes in one game with 14 chances and 7 boards. So he's capable of damn near anything. And there's a lot of ways that this is an over, but I'm certainly not going to be taking this for an under. So it's a close to a bet for me, but not one that I think I would make. All right, the couple other things I'm looking at here. This was a question I wanted to check out from Philip, which was someone on the Knicks in Boston will have Max Strus perform at 0 points or 0 threes. No, this wasn't the one. You asked a question I was actually into. Yeah, in case of a blowout in Knicks' favor, at what point of Q4 you think Boston will hang the white flag, if at all? I see them. I don't know. I mean, what Free Sauce was talking about in the comments earlier was like this team it's bad juju. Got sold. Team, not who knows what the future looks like. Is Brown here next year? Do you think they have the heart and soul to like finish this out and make sure they win this game or try to win it if they're down 10 in the fourth or whatever?
Yes. Yeah. I don't really see the script being flipped like that. Like if anything, I do think there's bad juju. Don't get me wrong, but if anything, I see we see yet another copy of Celtics come out on fire, get the lead. And then the Knicks just slowly prove that they're tougher than them and more, and they have a more clutch performer down the stretch. And so you go like halftime, full time again, and be like, yeah, one more time, Knicks rip their heart out. I don't see really that the Celtics just get like rolled at home. There's too much pride. There's too much, there's still too much talent, and you can't step in that trap in the NBA being like, oh, their best players out. Like therefore they're going to suck. Like, no, that doesn't.
I totally agree. Yep. Wow. I don't know if we live in that world. That might be a different universe parallel to ours in some way. But I don't think, like, it would have to be that Tatum is never the same and that they know that medically. And I don't think that they do. And I don't think they would make that diagnosis. So I don't think so. No, to answer that question simply, like, Tatum is a top 5 player in the NBA. Jaylen Brown is top 25, right? So the fact that I don't know definitively, it answers that question. But this was one that I did want to look at too. Cat. Is he going to come out zesty, or is he going to come out like normal cat? 19.5 points, assists you couldn't talk me into betting with your money, and then 12.5 boards. And he's actually had a lot of success rebounding against his team, at least in 5 of these 8 games. And then on the points, a little bit more of a do or die, but 19.5 still feels like a relatively low by low moment for look. He drops down from 24 to 20 in the playoffs. From regular season to playoffs, he ain't the same player. That's been proven over the course of his career. But 20 is still about what he should be scoring. Any value on either the PR, and I assume you're with me that you wouldn't bet on the assists.
Yeah, probably points and rebounds together. I mean, like you said, 20 points is still value. He's just not a guy that we trust in the postseason, so it seems scary. It's probably more of like a half unit play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're gonna bet on Carl, I prefer the over. I think PR, you still get some value. The rebounds are 12.5, so that's 13 plus 20 is 33. So this should be, you're actually getting a little bit of value because you only need him to get 32 PR, but individually it adds up to 33 points and rebounds separately. So a little bit of value if you get 31.5 on the PR there. I actually kind of like that number combined more so than anything. So I agree. He's played tough, man. Like, as a Knicks fan, he's frustrating. I want him to never, ever, ever touch the ball in the backcourt. I only want him in the front court because he's probably just going to throw it away. But when he's not fouling unnecessarily, still a fucking top 10 scoring big man in the league without question. So I would be going over on Cat before anything, but Michael thinks he's going to get into foul trouble. So does this Michael. All the Michaels in the chat think that our boy is going to get into foul trouble, but that's all good. I would still like the over a little bit more. Do you know, did you get this? Let me know if you got this info for sure, Michael Sailors, because that'll be interesting to know if that is in fact the case. I haven't seen anything yet. So now that we're in the conversation, Trey Porzingis, Holiday is probably one to go. You think Porzingis is around for a while, Nate?
Man, I don't. I'm not gonna put my GM hat on just yet. Give me a couple more games.
That's true. You still got a series. Yeah, you got to coach them through this series from your television set. So I get that. All right, let me see if there's anything else on here. I didn't really have much for anybody else. And OG, if he really is a little bit hurt, like, the points are still pretty high for him. Rebounds, he's not going to be doing much of when he's guarding the main guy. Like, OG's impact on this series has been on defense and timely shooting. Not necessarily amazing shooting, but timely shooting in this series has been OG's calling card. And I don't know how to bet him with the inconsistencies against this defense. Not great looks for him. Only guy we haven't talked about before we close out is potentially my daughter's first or middle name, Brunson. We're still considering it. Maybe Brunson Davion Collier, maybe with like hyphen Nembhard or something like that. But Jalen Brunson, man, is just the only thing I want to say real quick is, as a Knicks fan, watching him get to his spots in the fourth quarter and get to exactly the type of shot he wanted to shoot almost every time was so fun to watch, and he can't do that against Drew Holiday. So I hope they don't put Drew on him again. The assists were a look from him. Any thoughts on assists, points before anything else?
You can't fade the points. But like you said, if Drew is on him, look at that red in the games where Drew got more consistent minutes. Yeah. And I mean, the green is from mostly the second half comeback. Mm-hmm. In game one. Like, I mean, it's pretty simple if you're Joe Mazzulla. Like, I think he makes the adjustment. But I still don't feel confident enough to go under. Is his threes still at this value that we had last year?
Now. Yeah. My thoughts, what I said in the episode, when I put it out last night, I was, and I've been saying this about Brunson since the jump. You know this, like, if Brunson's threes are 2.5 at even money against the Pistons and the Celtics, who allowed pull up jump shots, then you got to take it for even money. Once you get to minus 135 is when I start to fade out. I think if he doesn't, I think I wait on this one and hope that if there's another game, in part it's because he goes under, and then next game it'll be closer to like minus 105, and then I take the over back home at the Garden in game 6.
Yes, yeah. Brunson and Hart are kind of like the bookmark guys for me. That like, if you're waiting for the, to the comment earlier, like if you're waiting for the Celtics to wave the white flag, it will probably come at MSG if they're able to extend it. Like if they get down in that one, it's not going to be like they yank the starters, but it's going to be like the defensive rotations aren't very crisp. And then all of a sudden, Brunson is getting these open threes again and piling it up.
Right. Yep, that's what I would agree with. I think he might be a stay away from me. I can't get away from the assist, but it kind of makes no sense. He's averaging 6.5 dimes against his team on 12.4 potentials. I guess that does make sense. I was being a little dramatic. For the season, he actually averages a pretty high assist success rate here, where it's like 7.4 assists on just 12.5 potentials. Pretty decently nice rate there, but 6.5 on 12 is pretty normal. So I would say he's still in his normal range. If he's going to be at about 12 assists or potentials, then 7 is still a little bit high for me, but I think that's about a 50-50 bet. The points, like you said, not going to go under, but I don't know if this is the game that I'm trying to bet on too many Knicks. I'm pessimistic about this one. I think they're getting slapped in this game, and we'll just see if they can make the comeback. But yeah, that's about all I've got in this one, to be honest. Going to get a couple other things done. Did you have any parting thoughts? Anybody that we might have missed from either game?
So it's a Celtics first half line again. That's all I had the courage to bet in game 4. But yeah, that might be the play here.
First half. Wow. Yeah. Cause it's minus 4.5 at home. I kind of still like that.
They might have baked it in though after the way these first 4 went.
That's fair.
That like they might actually be minus 6.5 at the half.
Right. So you took first half money line or first half spread minus 2.5.
First half spread. Ooh, it's only 2.5.
Oh yeah, you got 3.5, and they bet it down.
It was 3.5 in game 4. Yeah.
Oh, it's game 4. Yeah, I think this is probably a good look. I might take Celtics both halves. Also, honestly, like I think there's ways to just play the Celtics winning this game. I don't know how many times they can do it, but if anybody can do it again, it'd be Jalen Brunson. They've been down 20, 20, and 14 in their wins. So quick update too. We are going to be coming back with the Line Show. For those of y'all that know Nate and myself from the Line Show, we are going to be coming back to that. We had a brief hiatus, bunch of layoffs. So shout out to everybody who got laid off and hope they're able to land on their feet and do well. Tough times out there in the world right now, but hopefully going to be coming back with that show in the near future. And so we'll have that daily as well. And then we'll be getting into the NFL as well when that gets back up. So make sure you guys check that out. Appreciate you jumping on. Beefy, my man Nate, we'll get you back on here pretty soon. And until we see y'all next, happy betting.